Good morning, guys. Since others till others join, we'll start. Since the recordings are there, we can move forward and we can share recordings because we need to complete few modules today. Because with today's one, we will be coming into the latter part of the entire module 3. So hopefully, if possible, we'll complete the module 3. If so, we can. We have only not actually module 3, module 4. If so, we can complete the entire session within the given time frame, because you have we still have to do the evaluation part, which is the latter part of the assignment also you have. And let's start. Since you all are there, we'll start, then we can move forward. So by the way, can you all remember when is your assignment due?
25th June, I think.
25th June.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, right, super. So because before that, we need to complete the evaluation part, the brand evaluation. If not, what I will do, I will take the evaluation part next week and keeping the other area on a side. Then otherwise, it will be another concern if we wait till the last moment. So let's move on with the area where we are supposed to complete today. The brand identity and image is the area where we have to take up today. So here under this section, we are talking about, you already know the two words, the brand identity and the image. But here we are going to talk about, okay, what are the main identity, the strategy what we are using to build the brand identity and the key elements. Now, just have a look. This is just a sample, okay? Now, when you're looking at a brand identity and image development, my dear friends, you can't focus only on the advertisement. You can't focus only on the TV commercial or whatever packaging or whatever. Remember, your identity comes along with each and every aspects of your brand communication mechanism. Now, whatever the elements that are connected with the brand communication should comply your identity and the image aspects, because otherwise sometimes what we have seen, right? I mean, this is pretty expensive operation. I know it is pretty expensive operation. Now, I mean, when you look at managing the identity and image throughout whatever the communicable dimensions, right? So it's not easy. It's not easy. So your visual dimensions and your invisible dimensions and everything you got to manage in a equal platform. So but I mean, like, if we are to run in a long-term journey, if we are to come up with a long-term journey, so you need to make sure you are managing all the corporate communication elements, and you are managing all the whatever the communication aspects inside and the outside the organization with a unique mechanism. Reason, uh, I mean, the people might see your brand in a different locations. Sometimes the people might see your brand inside your office. Sometimes people might see your brand when someone is consuming, someone else is consuming, not them, but when someone else is consuming, or else your outside communication tools maybe, or else suddenly they might come across your brand with in whatever the way. So wherever you talk about your brand communication guideline and your entire operation, you need to make sure to maintain the uniformity throughout the brand communication guidelines. Otherwise, you will not be able to create a unique identity and an image for your brand. So this is just an image, but just have a look on it and see whatever the communication elements they use, even a small pen, they have been using some kind of a uniformity, no? Right? And even the coffee cup now. I mean, we all know when they give a cappuccino, let's say you go to a coffee shop, right? So they serve the cup with certain designs, na, on top. එතනදී, I mean, what do? They try to maintain some kind of a uniqueness in their delivery. So here, even you need to go into that level when you talk about the brand image. It's not easy. That is why I said, okay, this is pretty expensive operation. But when you're managing some kind of a element in brand communication, you got to make sure you're maintaining this uniqueness throughout the entire dimension. මෙතන ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ packaging එක මේ normal packaging එක coffee cup එක business card එක I think this is a tea I mean either whipped cream or sugar pack ඒක මේ whatever the communication notepad එක වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ හැම material එකකම මේ tin container එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් I don't know I mean like okay I was just selecting a sample and they have used a crescent also here I think chocolate crescent or something or a pastry so I mean you got to maintain your branding dimensions the branding elements දැන් මෙතන බලන්න දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ use කරලා තියෙන logo එක use කරලා තියෙන විදිය right එතකොට මේ reverse version එකේ logo එක දෙනවා නම් කොහොමද වෙන වෙන colors වලදී logo එක දෙනවා නම් කොහොමද එතකොට black patch එකක logo එක use කරනවා නම් කොහොමද ඒ හැම එකක්ම ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම cosmic කියන නම logo එකට යටින් එන විදියට right so මේ හැම එකක්ම they have given a detailed identity එතකොට ඒක use වෙන විදිය අනුව මිනිස්සුන්ට repetition එක එනවා මිනිස්සුන්ට අර mind එක capture වෙනවා මේක කොහේ හරි වෙන කොහේ හරි දැකලා තිබ්බනම් recall ratio එක වැඩි වෙනවා so all these things are so crucial අපි අර හිතුවේ නැති වුණාට but මේක manage කරනවායි කියලා කියන්නේ it's not easy because you need to make sure each and every dimensions manage with the equal identity what you are planning to create දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම now look at this even their I mean the cups their notepads their business cards their bags and even their envelopes right all these things are basically managed with a unique identity. ඉතින් මෙන්න මේක කරනවයි කියලා කියන එක ඒකේ ලොකු වැලියු එකක් එනවා අපි බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක මැනේජ් කරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යනකොට. It's as I said earlier it's not easy. Your investment should be very high to manage this. But whatever the communication elements you're managing, you got to make sure you connect with the uniformity. Then අපි එකපාරක් I mean I was basically working in the sense not working by supporting a company those they are manufacturing into different products like okay hand washers not recently I'm talking about I mean it was in 2000 12 or 13, right? And they were manufacturing hand washers, the liquid car washers, and kind of a things. So I mean, though it is bit of a difficult thing, I told them, look here. Even when you're selecting the color scheme of this hand wash liquid is having different colors now. So you got to make sure you are managing that color along with your logo color because you insert those things in a transparency bottles, the containers, right? So when you see a liquid which is completely contrasting than your logo and the branding element doesn't take proper attraction. So I told them, I mean, it is bit of an expensive process changing mechanical, I mean, not the mechanical, chemical items and the color ingredients, but you got to maintain it because you need to, I mean, look for certain color profiling thing and you need to get the consultancy for I mean, the person who is specialized in the color profiling part because all the liquids, let's say as example, the car wash liquid they have done in a transparency bottle, right? One part of the bottle is transparent. So I said, look here, if you really want to build the brand, you have to go it in this way. Otherwise, your attraction will not be there inside whatever the retail points. Because I mean බෝතලේ එක පාටක් liquid එක පාටක් and logo එක තව පාටක්. එහෙම යනකොට අර uniqueness එක short term money gain එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. But brand එකක තියෙන attraction you will not be able to get when you are managing in that way. So a product mix එකේම සමහර ඒවා they changed, and certain elements they said okay it's pretty expensive, so they didn't want to go ahead. Then I said you will not be able to survive for a longer period, and I mean because with a brand. And his finally I got to know the intention was completely different, though they wanted us to involve on the branding part. Their intention was just sell. So in that case we said okay, no point of we wasting our time and your money, because we are charging whatever the way. But I mean if they don't do whatever we ask them to do, no point of going into that type of a consultation and spoil our name also. Then we withdrew. I mean, we moved out from that project. So the brand is no more there in the market, and it was one of the good product mix they were having. They were having liquid soap, liquid hand washers, then and they were having some a very good technically, mechanically a good product, which is directly competing with the comfort product. The fabric softener, then they were having the liquid car wash, then they were having tire shine protectors, and all this product range was there, right? But they were not willing to change themselves. So I mean it's very difficult for a brand to survive if they don't maintain certain things to create identity, uniqueness, image, because that only brings the reputation, that only brings the credibility, that only brings the image of the brand. Because your visual component, especially when it comes for retail products, your visual identity is giving a huge impact. Now you go to Kiehl's as an example. Now look at their Kiehl's branded products. Now they are managing that effectively. Because whenever they are using their color schemes, sometimes now I very recently looked at their cinnamon pack. They have their own cinnamon brand. And even the packaging is matched with the cinnamon stick color. Right? And so those are the things you got to focus on. Because otherwise, and I saw another one, lime and lemon. I think the dishwash. I can't remember the exact bottle, right? And they were nicely managing with the liquid color which is inside. Right. So those are the things you got to focus when you look at. I'm not saying okay, those are the only things. Those are some of the things when you look when you need to focus when you are planning to build a long-term image and identity on a product. So I mean those things are crucial. Now brand identity, if you really look at the definition, the brand identity is the distinctive or the central idea of a brand and how the brand communicates this idea to its stakeholders, whoever connected with the organization. මේ idea එක අපි යන්නේ කොහොමද? මේ brand එක දැක්කහම මේ repetition එක දැක්කහම මේ concept එක දැක්කහම මිනිස්සු, the average consumer doesn't have an idea about the branding guideline or the branding policies or the branding definition or whatever, but they feel with whatever we do. So that need to be communicated effectively with our branding effort. Your logo, your design, your color combination, your packaging, everything matters for your brand identity and image. Guys, make sure in case you're coming up with your own product, in case you're coming up with your own brand, whatever the tiny element matters a lot කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න. මොකද සමහර වෙලාවට අපි ස්ලයිඩ් චේන්ජ් එකක් කරනවා ලෝගෝ එකේ. ස්ලයිඩ් චේන්ජ් එකක් කරනවා මේ අපි හිතමු ලෝගෝ එක දානකොට අපි ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් එකේ ලෝගෝ එක දානකොට පොඩ්ඩක් ස්ට්‍රෙච් කරනවා. Right? එක්ක පොඩ්ඩක් compress කරනවා, size dimensions වෙනස් කරනවා. Those you can't do. I can remember when I was working with the Intel brand. Intel, you know, I mean like okay, I was managing the local communication in Intel brand along with one of the companies where I was into. So they were having a huge guideline. branding guideline, and even now we are into a CIM operation, and CIM is having a huge branding guideline. You have to stick to those guidelines, otherwise you can't promote a product, because it is very true. Because if you are to promote your brand, you can't clutter. Now look at this as an example. You can't clutter with any other background images. දැන් මෙතන logo එක මේක දාලා තිබ්බට ඒක background image එකක් එක clutter වෙන්නේ නැහැ. logo එකට අදාළ identity එක දීලා තියෙනවා. So you need to maintain, okay, that identity. Now Intel, if you really looked at, I'm saying Intel, I was dealing with the Intel brand in 2003-4. Now when I was managing their brand, and they said, okay, if you're using the brand in a print advertisement in the newspaper, I mean, you have to use it in top right hand corner, and you have to keep, I can't remember the exact percentage of margin, so, some percentage of margin from right and the top. So then only you can display. And along with the logo, you can't have any text. You can't have any background images. You can have only plain background color, which is matching with your design. So ඔය වගේ. එතකොට දැන් logo එක දැන් Intel logo එක දානවා නම් අපිට බෑ තව logo එකක් ඒක ඇතුළට ගේන්න unless directly connected with the brand. අපි හිතමු දැන් Intel කියලා කියන computer processor එකක්නේ. ඒතර Intel processor එකත් එක්ක අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් ඒ brand එකට අදාළ logo එක විතරයි. වෙන මොකුත් logos clutter කරන්න බෑ අපිට. ඔය වගේ ලොකු guidelines ටිකක්. colors change කරන්න බෑ. එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම අපි ඒක manage කරනකොට Intel logo එකේ range එකක් තියෙනවා. processor range එකක් තියෙනවා. processor range එක අනුව they have given a proper wording style. We definitely කොච්චර clutter වුණත් වැඩක් නැහැ අපිට මේ wording style එක දාන්න ඕනේ ඒ logo එකත් එක්ක. Otherwise we are violating the guideline. If not, if we don't maintain, they don't fund. අපිට අතින් වියදම් කරගෙන තමයි campaigns කරන්නේ. So like that, why? The reason, even the Microsoft is the same scenario. When I was working with another company, the Microsoft also the same scenario, right? Because I was managing that also. So, and I was managing Epson, same guideline. And then HCL, the same guideline. Merlin-Gerin, UPS, the technical product, right? So difficult, but it's true that they are maintaining those guidelines. So it gives the uniqueness throughout. මොන ලෝකේ කොහේ ගියත් ඒ brands වල තියෙන guideline එක කවුරු manage කරත් ඒගොල්ලෝ set කරලා තියෙන්නේ brand guideline. Separate textbooks. දැන් Epson කියන brand එක ගත්තොත් it's a Japanese brand. So their brand guideline textbook is about 125 pages. You just imagine. එතකොට now they talk about, okay, if you are using for a website, how do you use? If you are using for a print business card, how do you use? If you are using for a letterhead, how do you use? If you are using for any other, the banner, outdoor hoardings, TV commercials, how do you use? And what time of, let's say as an example, the TV commercial. Logo එක කොච්චර වෙලාවක් මුළු advertisement එකේ what percentage you have to give for the visibility of the logo. So they go in that detail to create the identity. So if that is the case, my dear friend, then then you can build the image and the identity. Otherwise, you can't. So you need to maintain those guidelines. හැමතිස්සෙම මතක තියාගන්න මේ identity එක build කරනවායි කියලා කියන එක tiny දෙකකින් අපි කරන සමහරට logo එකේ background එකේ දාන image එකෙන් logo එක couple කරන image එකෙන් අපිට සමහරලාට identity එක kill කරන්න පුළුවන්. The identity what we are trying to build කියන එක you got to make sure. So when you're looking at developing the brand identity, remember, right? Everything is basically your presentation. You're presenting your brand. You're presenting your brand. So you got to make sure your brand presentation is so effective. එතකොට දැන් අපි brand presentation එක effective වෙන්න නම්, right? So we got to manage certain elements that are connected with the brand. Of course, your logo, of course, your name, your symbol, your term, color, everything is there, right? So those things we were talking about. And we know every brand is having some kind of a vision. Now, you look at, I'm not talking about, okay, the brands that are not matured into the market. right? Every brand is having some kind of a vision, right? එතකොට දැන් ඒ vision එක අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ vision එකත් එක්ක තමයි energy එක brand එකට එන්නේ. Who is creating the vision? Vision is created by the brand owners. ඒ කියන්නේ brand එකේ vision එක කියලා කියන්නේ company එකේ vision එක නෙමෙයි. Remember that carefully, because one single company might have multiple brands. If you are talking about the corporate brand image, so there you have a separate vision for the corporate. Now let's say as an example, okay, brands like corporate brands, I mean to say John Keys, corporate brands like let's say as example the Haleys and Softlogic. You look at corporate brands like Adam Expo. There are I mean like okay, even the companies like Nestle, Unilever, then Dali Butler and Stassons, your company. So all these are having corporate brand name, right? So you got to identify the corporate brand vision, because when you look at the corporate brand vision, that your corporate brand vision connected with all the other branding elements. Based on that only you are creating the internal culture within the organization. Brand එකේ ඕනට මොකද්ද තියෙන විදිය බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක ගෙනියන්න ඕන ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියන්න ඕන විදිය මොකද්ද කියන එක අනුව depending on his personal vision, how he wants to take the brand into a particular level in future, he change the culture නේ. He change the culture. කොයි විදියටද තියෙන්න ඕනේ, කොයි වගේ කල්චර් එකක්ද තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. So ඒක අනුව තමයි බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකට personality එක හැදෙන්නේ. So these dimensions anyway we will be discussing further. Brand එකක personality එක කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද? If you consider brand as a person, what type of a person appears? I mean, whether it is a down to earth, elegant, charming, upper class, ruggedness, right? So outgoing personality, so friendly, or high tech personality kind of a thing is communicated. හැම එකක්ම now everything is connected with the vision what you want to create along with the brand and the culture you embedded with the vision, right? And also what do? You position in the sense what you get into the mindset of your target market and the target audience with your brand. So you do all the communication strategies, no? Advertising, sales, promotion, communication වලට අපිට model එකක් තියෙනවා today. So you do all the communication strategies to position that take your brand into the mindset of the consumer. Positioning means what? Getting into the mindset of the consumer. So all these things are having separate effort to bring the brand presentation. So then only you can create the brand identity and the image and your relationship, your behavioral patterns within the organization, and behavioral pattern along with the stakeholders, those who are connected. Everything brings some kind of a energy to build the brand identity and the image of the organization, where your employees are talking to your customers, the way your employees are moving with your target market and the target audience, so called your customers. So everything is talk about some kind of a presentation to the public, some kind of a presentation to the target market, your customers and the consumers. So everything communicated, the identity and the image you are planning to communicate. Now, this model is by Leslie Chanatani, one of the professors in one of the top 10 professors now in the brand management. He's somewhere in actually top in between top 7, right? So, and this he is talking about the way you got to promote to build a better brand identity, the area you got to focus, because finally your brand identity and image is your presentation. Your presentation. දැන් මෙතන අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම පළවෙනිම slide එක, if you really look at this is your presentation end of the day. The way you present. දැන් අපි packaging එකට completely වෙනස් විදියට supermarket display එක කරනවා නම්, so your presentation is having some kind of a issue. your rack display එක කරනවා නම් වෙනමම color එකක, වෙනමම theme එකක, brand එකේ theme එකෙන් violate වෙලා, right? A concept again, whatever the project theme again violate, you have a certain concern. So your presentation is having a huge issue in that case. So you got to make sure your presentation is having a better connectivity with all these elements. So Chanatan is talking about that model where, I mean, like we are talking about some more elements when it comes for CAPFORAS model to build the brand identity. So any questions so far?
It's clear so far.
Super. So now here, Bowman Stewart talking about few more elements to build the brand identity. 6 elements, sorry. Now guys, අපි ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා ලංකාවේ මෙතන උනත් බලන්න, right? අපිට ගොඩාක් දේවල් එකපාර කියන්න බෑ. ගොඩාක් messages එකපාර කියන්න බෑ. අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා especially when it come for because our contact time with our connected time with our communication message is very short. දැන් අපිට hoarding එකක් අපි දවස් දෙකක් විතර දැක්කොත් ඊට පස්සේ ඒක දැක්කද නැද්ද කියන එකවත් මතක නැහැ. සමහරට අපි hoardings pass කරනවා, billboards pass කරනවා, advertisements අපිට pass වෙනවා, අපිට මතකත් නැහැ. right? අපිට connect වෙන්නේ නැහැ. right? So අපි try කරන්නේ මොකද්ද messages ගොඩාක් එකකින් යවන එක. careful වෙන්න ඕනේ අපේ communication strategies. මම මේකට මේ 6 elements වලට අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ, but I'm just talking about සමහර වෙලාවට අපි දකිනවා ඒ කියන්නේ image එකකින් විතරයි message එක දෙන්නේ. වචනයක්වත් නැහැ. image එකකින් විතරයි message එක දෙන්නේ. right? Image can talk 1,000 words කියලා කියන එක තියෙනවා. So you got to make sure your communication is very clear and short and should be able to capture the quick communication impact. මතක තියාගන්න අපේ communication එක යනකොට ඒවා සෑහෙන්න වැදගත් වෙනවා. So Baumer and Stewart talks about the Grace also there talks about 6 identity types. Identity types, right? එතකොට identity types කියලා කිව්වම අපි communicate කරන්න හදන identity වල අපි manage කරන්න ඕන identity types. ඒතර මේ identities ටික අපි maintain කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් අපේ actual identity එක මොකක්ද? අපි මිනිස්සුන්ට communicate කරන්නේ අපේ මොන වගේ identity එකද? දැන් Coca-Cola as an example. Actual identity is what? It's a cola product. It's a cola product. Right? Sunlight ගත්තොත් actual identity එක මොකක්ද? Right? It's a I mean what do you call I mean fabric cleaner, right? එක soap එකක්. actual identity එක soap එකක්. අපි ගමු comfort එක. actual identity එක fabric softener එකක්. right? ඒතර fabric softness කියලා කියන්නේ comfort විතරක් නෙමෙයිනේ. You take Kellogg's as an example. Actual identity is a food, right? Actual identity is cereal food. ඔක තමයි actual identity එක. So you need to identify, my dear friends, your actual identity should not have a huge deviation from your communicated identity. The actual identity එක අපි communicate කරන්න ඕනේ හරි විදියට. right? අපිට actual identity එක දැනගෙන තමයි අපි communication campaign එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් අපි actual identity එක දන්නවා නම් sunlight කියලා කියන්නේ රෙදි හොදන සබන් කෑල්ලක් කියලා. අපිට communicate කරන්න බෑනේ වෙන විදියකට. එහෙනම් you got to connect with the actual identity of the product along with the communication identity, communicated identity. The message that you want to communicate to the target market and the target audience, you have to manage it. You have to manage it along with the actual identity. So you have actual identity, you have a communicated identity. එතකොට ඒ දෙකේ වෙනසක් තියෙන්න බෑ. එතකොට අනිත් එක තමයි අපි ඔළුවට මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ඔළුවට යන identity එක. Conceived identity එක. මිනිස්සුන්ට built වෙන image එක මොකද්ද? එහෙනම් දැන් let's say as an example, right, okay, Kellogg's cereal food. That is actual identity. Communicated identity, I mean, it's created attractively the packaging saying that okay, this is for kids and the cereal products they are the in the packaging. You have you show some different flavors. You talk about the combination of milk and the cereal and have it as a breakfast. So that is a communicated identity. And that identity also created in the mindset of the consumer. That identity also conceived. ඉතින් ඒ identity එක conceive කරන්න තමයි ඒ image එක build කරන්න තමයි අපි ඒ අදාළ brand related elements අරගන්නේ. Brand related elements අරගන්නේ. So you got to use those elements. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට Kellogg's pack එකට කාටුන් කැරක්ටර් එකක් නැතුව එහෙම නැත්නම් ලස්සන flavored dishes මේවා නැතුව අපි හිතමු මේ ඒ color scheme නැතුව plain white box එකකින් ලියලා දෙනවා Kellogg's logo එක දාලා detail ටික විතරක් ලියලා. I mean, do we really build a conceived identity or the image throughout this? No. So you got to identify that. මොන මේ අපි මිනිසුන්ගේ ඔළුවට දාන identity එකකින් තමයි අපිට image එක build වෙන්නේ. So you got to focus on that part. And අපි ගත්තොත් covenanted identity, which means for that conceived identity, right? Conceived identity, only people get connected and take the decision to consume the product. So people believe the conceived identity and they decide, okay, to use the product. They decide to consume the product based on the conceived identity, and their decision comes along with this, right? So we pronounce it as covenanted identity. So Sinhala you call it givisum gata. They are giving basically the confirmation to consume the product along with the identity what they receive in their mindset. So the promise why what they built, like api gattot ehema Kellogg's pack එකේ they talk about the nutritional level. They talk about the benefits your kid is receiving along with that product. ඔය ඕවා තිබ්බේ නැත්තම්, right? ඕවා තිබ්බේ නැත්තම් අපිට මිනිස්සු කන්සියුම් කරන එක නැති වෙනවා. එතකොට අපි ඒක build කරනවා තව identity category එකක. Right? So you got to identify this. එතකොට දැන් අපි එක pack එක ගත්තොත් actual identity එක කතා කරනවා, communicated identity එක කතා කරනවා. So අපි කතා කරනවා conceived identity එක, image එක, covenanted identity එක අපි කතා කරනවා. එතකොට අනිත් identity එක තමයි ideal identity එක. දැන් අපි ඇත්තටම දෙන identity එක finally මොකක්ද කියන එක. දැන් මේ එක pack එක ගත්තොත් මේ identity types ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. I'm talking about a good brand, right? Which is which they are maintaining everything, right? So they talk about everything in that, right? එතකොට මිනිස්සු product එකක් use කරනකොට දැන් අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට desired identity and the ideal identity. Let's say I mean, what do you seriously deliver along with the total identity level? That is the ideal identity you are communicating. So ideal identity people get along with the total identity elements that you communicate throughout your identity delivery. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපේ communication strategy, right? So අපි එක pack එක ගත්තොත් දැන් මම කිව්ව උදාහරණයක් විදිහට Kellogg's එක ගත්තොත් ඒ Kellogg's එකේ කතා කරන මේ හැම item එකක් ඉඳම ඒකේ ideal identity එක, complete identity එක අපිට display වෙනවා. So that is the reason people go behind those products. That is the reason people even pay premium and purchase, right, those products. So you got to identify that. And the desired identity, කැමැත්ත ප්‍රකාශ කරන identity එක. So I mean මිනිස්සු ඒක ඊට පස්සේ continuously use කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. People are okay to consume the product because those I mean desire, කැමැත්ත has already given along with the product. So those things you got to make sure you are managing along with your brand management. So 6 identity types. There can be questions on මේ bombers towards greyers දාලිවරලා අහන්න පුළුවන් what are the 6 identity types which is or which is not a 6 identity type identified by the Bomber, Stuart and Gray's කියලා කියන්න අහන්න පුළුවන් question එක. So like that you need to look at this. So when you are building the brand identity, my dear friends, you got to focus on this. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට visual identity එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි මෙතනදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ, right? Actual identity එක, conceived identity එක, covenanted identity එක, so ideal identity එක, desired identity එක, හැම identity pattern එකක්ම අපි කතා කරනවා. So look at a particular product and identify whether they seriously communicate that. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එimhe තව product එකක් අපි ගමු, right? Okay. හරි McDonald කියලා ගමු. So McDonald කියලා ගත්තොත් actual identity එක තමයි food, burger, right? So food products, communicated identity, fun along with the burger, what they basically get along with the burger. So that is the communicated identity. Conceived identity, right? So the image, wow, it's kind of a, I'm not saying okay it's premium in Sri Lankan context, you can talk about okay it goes for the some kind of upper middle and above. So that is the conceived identity. It's some kind of a fun, entertaining, family dining, and the burger specialized for burger kind of a thing. So the covenanted identity. So the people, why people use it. They said okay. They promise whatever they whatever they delivered, they promise, right? Promise delivery. We identified that as a promise delivery. So whatever they promise, they deliver. So they talk about, let's say as example, the way they serve. They talk about how they serve. They talk about the taste. They talk about the entertainment environment they believe, and because of that, people take the decision to consume the product. Ideal identity, when people start consuming and the total package what they give brings the ideal identity. Desired identity, people give their decisions, their conviction to consume the product. So those things are there when you look at a particular brand. So මේ brand identities ටික අපි maintain කරගන්න ඕනේ brand එකක් build කරනකොට. So that's why I said okay, it's not easy effort. Brand identity එක build කරනවා කියලා කියන එක easy effort එකක් නෙමෙයි. You got to maintain so much of things, right? එතකොට දැන් ඔතන තමයි කියන්නේ දැන් අපි අර සිංහලෙන් there's a famous saying අලි දෙන්නම් කොටි දෙන්නම් කියලා අන්තිමටම හාල් මැස්සෙක්වත් නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ. So ඒ කියන්නේ brand එක සමහර වෙලාවට communicate කරනවා ලොකුවට. I will tell one of the example, don't take me wrong, right? Now look at what is that brand? Black Knight as an example, right? Then Black Knight කියන brand එක ගත්තොත්, I'm not criticizing, okay? I'm just evaluating by looking at the branding dimensions. I'm not criticizing. I'm not talking about any revenue measures. I'm talking only on the branding guidelines. Then Black Knight කියන product එක අපි ගත්තොත් එimhe මේ product එක බලන්න communicate කරන විදිය. I can remember once they were having an advertisement. A guy get down from a chopper and take 3 girls and move, right? එතකොට now what type of a positioning they are talk about? Premium, right? Upper class, right? And elegant. So if that is the case, is that the actual identity? So compared to the pricing, they are actually at almost lower side in the supermarket, and but their communicated identity is huge. And conceived identity, the people get some kind of idea, but even their sachet packets are available in wayside very average pettikade, right? So when they communicate one thing, they can't use that they need to basically manage the other connections also, because even your retail point is a communication point. So you got to make sure. Now, who is basically, convicted with the product? Who is basically, mostly communicate, who is basically start consuming the product? Who is basically covenanted with the product? Look at the real consumers and their communication message. Look at the real identity and the communicated identity. It has a huge gap. As a brand, it is not effective. Of course, I have heard they do revenue. I'm not saying no, but as the brand management part, they are not basically maintaining a uh, branding, uniformity, identity throughout their journey. ඉතින් ඕවා තමයි සමහර failures අපි දකින්නේ. ඉතින් ඒවා අපි බලන්න සමහරලාට if they were managing, they could have sometimes increased the price and go into a completely different market. But you should not take much time to take those decisions, because once it is pasted in the mindset of the consumers, conceived identity එක image එක build උනට පස්සේ ඒක ආයි change කරන්න your investment should be huge. එතනදී තමයි අපි කතා කරන්නේ brand rejuvenation, revitalization. There only we talk about brand rejuvenation. Now, one of the example for brand rejuvenation and revitalization is EGP. Right? EGB නැතුව කෑම එපා කියන එක complete rejuvenation and revitalization, which means you give a new birth to the brand. And even යෞවනයේ පොපියන චමත්කාරය cream soda, it's a brand rejuvenation, right? So, and the revitalization, you give a new energy and a new life to the brand. So it has a huge investment on it. You can't easily do it. So you need to make sure you're managing these elements when you are focusing on these elements when you are managing the brand identity. And this is one of the crucial and one of the heavily used model in the brand management to build the brand identity, and we identified as the CAP4S brand identity model, CAP4S brand identity model, and which is one of the very famous model where most of the global brands are basically using to build the brand identity effectively. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. CAP4S brand identity prism. Right. Under this model, right, you can see it's a prism. So, he's using 6 dimensions to basically build the brand image, right? Build the brand image. So some of the dimensions he's, managing internally to get the external attraction. So whatever the way, right? So you look at 6 major dimensions to build the brand image. So image and the identity. Sometimes you might not use all 6. Now I will tell as an example. I will take one by one first. Okay, this physique. Physique means what? Physique means the physical shape of the product you are using to create an identity. Physical shape of a product you are creating to build a unique identity. I will tell as an example. What do you call Toblerone as an example? Toblerone, you have a unique physique in their products. So Toblerone එකේ අපි දන්නවා Toblerone එකේ අර pyramid shape එක තියෙන්නේ කියලා chocolate එකේ. ඒගොල්ලෝගේ slabs නෑ, balls නෑ. Ferrero Rocher අපි කරගත්තොත් එහෙම. Ferrero Rocher එකේ තනිකරම chocolate balls ඒගොල්ලෝ කතා කරන්නේ. Unique physique එකක්. අපි ගන්න උදාහරණයක් විදිහට Harley Davidson bike. Harley Davidson bikes as an example. Hummer Jeeps අරගන්න. So unique physical dimension create the brand identity. සමහර වෙලාවට බයික් එකේ ෆිසික් එක දැක්කලා ඒක කියනවා right මේක Harley බයික් එකක්. සමහරවිට vehicle එකේ ඈත ඉඳලා එන විදිය එන vehicle එකේ front side එකේ නැත්නම් whatever the side you look at, you said it's a Hummer vehicle. So you call it in that way. You call it in that way. So physical dimension use as an identity tool in certain product. You take as an example the Coke bottle, my dear friends. Now it's a unique identity they are using, right? Coke bottle. For about 100+ years, they have been using the same bottle and it has gone as an identity. So you got to look at, sometimes we will be able to use the physical dimensions, physical shape or the physique to build a unique identity. You got to have a clear idea. And your personality, what type of personality you are talking about? I told you the personality. Personality means what? When you look at a brand as a person, when you look at a brand as a person, right? You build some kind of a real world person along with the brand. Now let's say Dettol as an example, Siddhalepa as an example. Okay, Siddhalepa, they themselves talks about, okay, gedara inna veda mahatya. So doctor's personality. So Dettol, some kind of a protective, and it also preventive personality. To a certain extent, you might say doctor's personality. They are also using, right? Doctor's personality. So then you talk about brands like, okay, you get Harley Davidson bike. So what type of personality they are talking about? Ruggedness, outgoing, right? අමුතුම personality එකක් නේ, because they are talking about, but I mean that is how the brand origin was taking place. When, I mean, those days the Harley Davidson bikes were used by the gangsters, right? But now it has become a premier one. And when you study their shows, the Harley Davidson shows, right? So different personality they are talking about. You talk about Red Bull as an example. Energy, sports, type of personality, and adventurous, energy, sports. Now they even arrange their communication. They even arrange their brand image building activities connected with that. connected with that. Then you take as an example, I wonder whether you have come across with the Red Bull, the gondolas and the jeeps, the cars, right? So they are using Volkswagen, modified Volkswagen with the Red Bull container. So quick. And they are using, even those vehicles. So those branded vehicles are driven by the nice looking girls, right? So to get what different personality along with the brand, right? So, and even the activities they do, everything, skydiving, maybe the let's say the motor sports, maybe water sports, maybe whatever you make it. So they talk about a unique personality along with that brand. And also, when you talk about the Coca-Cola as an example, they talk about fun-loving, right, entertaining personality along with this feel-good personality, outgoing personality, friendly kind of a personality. You take like brands like, okay, tech products like, okay, IBM, Intel kind of a brands. They talk about sophisticated and serious and of course down to earth personality is also there, kind of a thing. You take as an example brands like, okay, Maliban and Manchi. So brands like Maliban is talking about some kind of a down to earth, friendly, reliable person. Now look at even the people, those who are using Irangani Singh and most attractive personality in the Sri Lankan context. So they are using them. So to build the brand personality, you connected with an individual as well who is having some kind of a personal note. Let's say Nike as an example, Maria Sharapova, Roger Federer, Ronaldo, right? So kind of people only represent those brands. So, why not even Sri Lankan top celebrities, top sports personalities, they don't use? No, it's a global brand and they want to make sure the global reputation, the global personality connected with the brand. And Tiger watches. So, see the personality connected with this, the golf player. So, global personality. So, along with that, the people are creating Rolex. Who is mainly comes into the Rolex communication? Roger Federer. Roger Federer appears for most of the Rolex communications. So why, right? So and see, very recently I can't remember I think the Pantene. This person Ronaldo is appearing for Pantene. Yeah, I think the Pantene hair care one Ronaldo is appearing. You just think about what type of a personality they are talking about, right? So along with the brands they talk about, so you got to have a unique personality in it. Lux කියලා කිව්වම, what type of a personality they are talking about? Celebrity, right? Film star, beauty connected along with it. And look at the brands like Dove, right? Look at the brands like Dove. Do they talk about Sri Lankan personality? Though we sell the product in Sri Lankan supermarkets, they always connected with the international personality, and even they are basically taking the international brands, the modified version, and publish here. So they are trying to maintain that personality because that personality, to that personality, people are attracted. Now, let's say you prefer a particular celebrity and you wanted to basically be like that celebrity. So you're trying to attract, you're trying to move like that personality. So the people behavior, I'm just saying. Right? මම අරයා වගේ ලස්සන වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. මට අරයා වගේ මේ strong වෙන්න ඕනේ. So like that type of a thing, you're connected with that. Now, as an example, the telescene marketing, if you really look at certain gym equipments, right? They are using. Do you think the personalities and the figures, so these people, those who are appearing in those advertisements, build their figures, build their bodies using those gym equipments? No. They are professional after practicing so many years, they have built their figures and six packs and all these things. But Telesin is using them to show a different personality in it. So that is what we need to build. That is what we need to build in the mindset of the target market and the target audience. So, and your culture, what you try to build within the organization, right? Culture can take it as an identity. Now you take as example, okay, Mobitel in Sri Lankan context, what type of culture they are talking about? Dialogue, what type of culture they are talking about? Mobitel is more towards I'm not saying they are not into corporates, more towards the village, the citizen related culture, down to earth culture kind of a thing. But dialogue is talking about corporate, right? And industrial, and then again they are talking about fun also to a certain extent when it comes for the consumer package. So kind of a different culture. And also when they look at even the internal dimensions, management in internal dimensions, they are maintaining all this, right? And even restructuring approach of the internal environment of the dialogue operation, we identified even the second in command seated in the same floor along with the other workers. No covered cubicles, no, special arrangements, no separate areas, separate floors. So the chief of staff also seated in the same floor along with the other heads in the, operational heads. So different culture they create, different culture they create in the organization. So those things you got to look at. And the culture means what? Set of values that are connected with the employees and your communication campaigns and what you are trying to communicate outside. Now, set of behavioral values, set of visible values you are trying to communicate is basically identified as the culture. Now, when you look at banks, සමහර බැංක්ස් වලට ගියාම දැන් let's say as example සම්පත් බැංකුවට ගියාම මැනේජර් කතා කරන්නේ එක්ක අයියේ එක්ක අක්කා ඉන්න subordinatesලා අයියේ අක්කා එහෙම කියලා කතා කරනවා. Now when you go to bank like commercial bank, you address by the name. When you go to even the managers are addressed by the name. එතකොට දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ වෙන බැංක් එකකට ගියොත් let's say HSBC, Standard Chartered වගේ බැංක්. So you address by Mr. kind of a thing. So those things are there, different cultures they have managed. Your dress code shows a different culture. So everything is giving a unique identity. And let's say your dress code. And when you see a person outside with the corporate dress code, it gives an identity to the entire corporate brand. And let's say if someone is doing something along with that dress, the corporate dress, which is damaging the corporate reputation. I will tell one of the examples, right? Very recently, I came across with one person. I was basically driving, and by in Nugegoda, one guy stopped the bike and trim his mask. Just trim. එක නිකම්ම මාස්ක් එක ගැලෙව්වා බිම දැම්මා. වෙන මොකුත් කරේ නැහැ. And he was wearing a t-shirt of a bank, right? T-shirt of a bank where I am directly working for my projects. And I told him, right? I didn't tell him, right? And මම යනකොට සිග්නල් එකක් එයාට දුන්නා මාස්ක් එක. He didn't even bother. He knew I showed him that, but he didn't even bother. I talked to the HR person and said, hey, look here. Your person in Nugegoda branch with your t-shirt today, and I have the number also of the bike, and he was doing something like this, right? And I communicated that because he was completely, if I could see that incident, I know for sure others might have seen because මේ අපි කියනවා හැමතිස්සෙම අපි කියනවා මාස්ක් වල හැමතැනම දාන්න එපා විසික් කරන්න එපා ඒ විසික් කරන ඒව ඩිස්පෝස් කරනකොට පිළිවෙලකට ඩිස්පෝස් කරන්න so we talk all these things we are talking it's the common subject in the society these days so if they are violating that common subject we need to take the action so and I'm not connected with the HR in that bank I'm connected with a separate section in that bank but without telling anything of those connections I talked to HR manager and said look here this person with this bike and this branch and he was doing something like this here. And I knew the branch because he was turning into Kohuala side and I was following him. I was on the same route and he entered to the branch. So that is why I knew he is from that particular branch. So what I wanted to tell, your behavior finally gives some kind of an indication about your brand identity also, even outside with the corporate uniform. අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ground staff Sri Lankan airline ground staff do you think they provide all the transportation and everything just to bring the people over there? No. They want to maintain some kind of a standard and some kind of a reputation to the brand, some kind of a identity to the brand. So that is why they are managing everything. Right, giving transport and giving those comfort because they want their staff to come into that particular location, the working environment in a pleasant way. So those things you got to identify, unique identity, your culture, everything comes into the culture. So some companies are basically stressing on the culture, right? Now, let's say as an example, Virgin brand, right? Virgin Airline, Virgin Atlanta. So those brands, unique corporate culture, right? Richard Branson, if you study as a personality and the culture he brings into it, and he always associate with the employees, he always giving basically opportunities for employees to develop. He looks at the society always. He basically talks about how important being having the good culture. And even his first some of his statement, he said, okay, before your external customer you get your internal customer, so you have to protect the internal customer because they are the people those who are serving your external customer. So like that, the unique culture he brings in the Virgin group, if you really look at, so study that also, then you can get that. Then Tesla is a bit of a different, but Tesla, when you really look at Tesla, Elon Musk and Virgin Richard Branson trying to go into kind of a similar branding platform, because Elon Musk also now mostly comes into social medias and express himself to the public, whereas Virgin group, Richard Branson, from the beginning, he was into social medias and promoting himself. And he was once 2 to 3 years back, he was nominated as the best social media personality in the I think one category, top CEO range or something. So he nominated in that way. He was recognized in that way. So like that. So it's a unique culture where they basically trying to communicate. So you got to identify how my culture should be. Friendly, the කොහොමද rigid culture එකක්ද, hierarchically යන culture එකක්ද, communicative culture එක මොකක්ද, right? ඔය ඔක්කොම සමහර companies වල now even your company CEO, group CEO, you can address by the first name. සමහර companies වල senior executive ට sir කියලා කතා කරන්න ඕන company. Different cultures are there. So you got to have a clear idea. So these dimensions are there, the culture. Then you talk about the self-image. Image is in the mindset of the consumer. So what is the image we are trying to bring? What type of a positioning value may api image එක create කරන්නේ premier image එකක්ද? Are we trying to build the economic driven image? Are we trying to build a protective type of image? Now, let's say as example, if we talks about, right, Volvo. Okay, Volvo, they talks about the safety more than the prestige and the other. They try to talks about the safety and the comfort along with the luxury. Safety and the comfort along with the luxury. Volvo is talking about. So Mercedes-Benz is talking about premium image along with the corporate side, because Mercedes-Benz is basically a business class product. That is how they communicate. And even BMW is talking about sports, and they say ultimate business machine, ultimate driving machine. So kind of a thing they communicate. So self-image, which means when someone is using the product, what type of a image he or she build along with it. Then this I have this actually not I actually we have studied. Some people use brands to improve their personal image. Api, very basic example if I take, right? Some people go for shopping and multiple locations they go and buy their stuff, and they, let's say they go to some kind of a good branded outlet also, and sometimes they, I mean, whatever they purchase from the other shops also put it into the same bag where they purchase from the branded outlet, and they carry. They don't want to connect with the other brand. They don't want to show the other brands. Then everybody knows, okay, he has. I mean, they want to show that they have purchased this stuff from these places, right? Those places. And why people now, අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා, which I'm not doing with this some of the dirtiest thing I have ever seen, where we see in social media. You go to public, I mean, star rating restaurants, and you say, wow, I'm in this restaurant having dining. So, I mean, they openly talk about their image. They try to communicate their personal image, self-image along with the brand, along with the brand. And they said, I bought this product, I bought that product, and so something like that. Their self-image is connected along with the brand what they are consuming. So I mean, people use that for the brand, so that we can use for brand development, brand identity purpose, brand identity purpose. So that is there. The reflection, what I mean, others see the self-image, and the reflection is basically what the what we get as the brand users, right? What type of person reflect when I'm using the product, the brand, what we are talking about. Then අපි use කරන, අපි යන්නේන තැන, අපි consume කරන brand එක අනුව people reflect themselves. People reflect themselves. The way we are basically consuming, people try to reflect themselves along with the brand what they are communicating. That again connected along with the self-image, along with the self-image, because that talks about from the consumer's point of view. මේ image එක තමයි reflect කරන්නේ. මේ image එක තමයි reflect කරන්නේ එළිය. අපි build කරගන්න image එක we are reflecting to the outside society along with the product. අපි ඒ image එක තමයි අපි communicate කරලා අපි reflect වෙන්න try කරනවා. And one of the researchers done most of the branded watches, the people those who are wearing branded watches, I mean to say good branded watches, do not wear long sleeves. Do not wear long sleeves. They are wearing short sleeves. Branded watches wear කරන කට්ටිය use කරන කට්ටිය ඒගොල්ලෝ අඳින්නේ short sleeves, because let's say you spend about 1.5 million for a Rolex watch, and nobody sees that I mean, self-image because you are wearing a Rolex, right? You're wearing a Armani dress, right? So So like that. So I mean, they reflect their image to the society along with the brands. So it has identified if the people those who are wearing branded watches wearing short sleeves because they want others to see that they are wearing these things. So that can be used to build a unique identity and image. So that is why even the personality is connected because ඒ වගේ කට්ටිය use කරනකොට ඒ level එකට වැටෙන්න මිනිස්සු පාවිච්චි කරන මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා. So something like that, right? And the relationship you build along with the brand. I mean, ultimately, along with the culture, you build the relationship, right? But you build a culture here based on this culture. With the outside environment, they build a relationship with the internal environment and the brands. So which means they start consuming the brand, they start working along with the people, those who are connected with the brands, they start working along with the organization, those who are supplying the brand. So the relationship is built. So these are the 6 dimensions discussed under the brand identity prism of Kapferer, who is basically, Kapferer is one of the best branding gurus in the world, and this is one of the greatest model, heavily used model under the brand management. So make it. Any question? So here I think, okay, it's further I have given here. Yeah. Any question? Any question? Take the time now. So we were talking about image, creating a strong image. We were talking about, image is basically built along with whatever the activities we do with the brand, and which is pasted in the mindset, and how people use that image, right? Self-image and the brand image to present themselves. So these things might come into your what do you call paper, online exam, asking the definitions of these things. So have a look on them. Right? We were talking about just read this. Any questions? So this is very short. Yeah. Yes, Chandran, any question?
No, Mr. Mahesh, actually electricity went down, so I joined again.
Okay. Then O level නැතිඳ ආයි light යනවානේ. Sorry. Not this. So this is a short one, which means we are talking about, the things what we need to look at, okay, when you are looking at the brand equity development, and especially the communication thing, and how we use the 7 P's approach in brand equity development. Because brand equity, in the sense, finally the final value of the brand. So when you look at the brand value, you can't just use only the communication. As I said earlier, you got to make sure all your marketing mix dimensions are clearly managed in this. So in marketing mix, when you look at, okay, your product strategy, right, should be highly effective. අපි එකක් communicate කළා deliver කරන product එක, if it is not up to the standard what we communicate, right? So then it will be a concern. And the pricing strategy, it should match with the quality and the image what you are planning to communicate. And you try to, as I said earlier, the product like, not to criticize then again, product like Black Knight, the way they are communicating in their commercials, the sales, advertising, and the other promotional activities. So it should be one of the premier price product. But in real world, it is not a premier price product. It is basically low. I'm not saying the lowest, but low end product. So the pricing strategy you need to mention, the communication strategy we were talking about, especially the communication strategy matters a lot in equity development. If you talk about the promotion strategy, I think we will be discussing this. I think in another session, we'll be discussing the promotion approach. What are the things we can do to promote? So promotion, the communication, advertising, sales, promotion, right? You got to manage everything effectively. Marketing mix management is crucial in the brand equity development. So you need to make sure uniformity along with all these elements to have the unique identity. එතකොට product එක premium නම් price එක premium වෙන්න ඕනේ, communication premium වෙන්න ඕනේ, distribution premium වෙන්න ඕනේ. The people, those who are working along with the brand should be premium. The process of connecting with the brand should be premium. Physical evidence management should be premium. All these should be premium if you are talking about the premiumness of the product. So like that, we need to make sure that we are managing all these elements effectively to get the better return from the organization. So these 7 P's, I'm not going to talk much about 7 P's. So, and we need to know these elements we need to manage under the equity development. So especially the communication is important because communication we use in the brand identity and the image development also. But brand identity and image development does not, that doesn't mean that it doesn't worry about the product strategy. It is concerned, but the communication is mainly you are talking about connections with the external stakeholders, the customers, for the brand with the way you communicate. So distribution, again, you talk about distribution strategies. If you talk about selective, intensive, exclusive distribution, right, strategy, how are we going to manage the place? How are we going to build the merchandising and display? I mean, where are we make our products available? People element, if we really look at what type of people we are using to promote the brand, manage the brand. So those things you got to talk about, right? So physical evidence management, also the location management, right? Everything need to communicate, everything need to manage effectively when you manage the brand equity. So මේක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට marketing management වල කතා වෙනවා, deeply කතා වෙනවා, but generally you got to have an idea if you are to build the brand equity, marketing mix is playing a crucial role කියන එක. So here we identified, okay, what these elements further. So අපි ගත්තොත් product එක, you need to look at the quality, you need to make sure your image and the brand. I mean, if you can remember the product related theories like 3 layers of product: core product, total product, and the augmented product layer. So you talk about product related features, benefits, and support levels, and all these things you talk about under product. Promotion, we were talking about the communication, advertising, sales, promotion, personal selling, direct, indirect, interactive marketing, indirect marketing. So those things, the PR, CSR, public relations, CSR approach, all these things are promotion activities we can talk about. We can talk about pricing, right? What type of price we are trying to position? Is it premier? Is it moderate? Is it economic pricing? So we talk about, and the discounts and the credit, and the when you do the costing part, you got to talk about fixed cost, the variable cost, then you talk about the total cost and other cost elements we need to talk about. So those things we need to consider when you look at the pricing part. Place is the location management. Place is the location management. So as I said, convenient, pleasant location for customers to come and access the product you got to manage. And the people, as I said earlier, you got to talk about, okay, what type of people, those who are working along with the brand. When you do the recruitment, you need to make sure you match the people, those who are matching with the organization culture, right? Your training and development activities, skills development activities, your remuneration package, everything you got to concern to build the brand. මොකද සමහර වෙලාවට සමහර කට්ටිය එළියට ගිහිල්ලා කිව්වොත් එම අයියෝ මේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක වැඩක් නෑ අපි දන්නවා ওই බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක හදන විදිහ අපිට මෙහෙමයි ට්‍රීට් කරන්න කින්ද මන්ද. So it gives the image of the brand, it kills the image of the brand, right? The process, then again you're talking about the step-by-step approach, what you do to deliver the product and the service, right? Then physical evidence, as I said earlier, physically available clues to consume the product we talk about. So those are 7 P's model, which is directly connected with the brand equity development. So you don't have a deep theories like NPD, PLC, and all the other theories you don't have along with this topic. But generally, you need to have an idea how marketing mix strategies connected with the what you call brand equity development, so that you will be able to make it. You can simply design the brand in a way, rather design marketing mix in a way where you build the brand equity effectively. So let's move on with that for the brand extension and stretching. Make a පොඩ්ඩක් අපි බලන්න ඕනේ මේක. This of course one of the area. What is the time now, by the way? Okay, it's 10:15. Shall we take a quick break and meet up then? 10:30. Chandana, is it okay?
Okay. Yeah, okay, Mr. Mahesh.
Then I can continue the brand extension and stretching part.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break and meet up. Right. Can we start? Shall we start?
Yes, yes, yes. We can start now.
Super. Give me 1 minute. Sinhala මේ recordings යවන්න අදම Sinhala සමාධි මේ recordings Sinhalට කියන අදම share කරන්නයි කියලා. Right. Now this one is mainly on the brand extension. And the brand extension in the sense, now when you look at the brand, now if the brand is having a good image and identity and a good reputation, we can use the same brand to extend our product mix. Now, if we really look at, okay, in this example, how the Dove brand have extended their product mix. Okay, so from soap to shampoo to cream, body wash, and all these things, they have extended their product mix under the same brand name. So the brand extension we can use if the brand is already established. Or else, if we are planning to come up with a brand covering the entire range, even we can
I
start.
can't hear you, Mr. Mahesh.
Can you hear now? Can you hear now? Samadhi, can you hear? Samadhi, can you hear?
I can hear you.
Chandana, can you hear now?
Yes, can hear now.
All right, okay. So, and the brand extension we talk about, okay, if you have a brand which is already established and where you have a good image and identity and a reputation, so your brand becomes kind of a pulled brand in the market. And using that image and the identity what you have already built for the brand, you can come up with new set of products for your brand. Or else, let's say as an example, if you want to, let's say if it is a new brand and you're planning to cover a particular category, right? So you can come up with the entire range also there. But generally, the brand extension refers to the situation where you introduce new products under the same brand to cover the category where you are into. So it can be a line extension, it can be a category extension. We'll be discussing the difference between these two, right? So the meaning behind the extension, in the sense you are taking the same brand into another product or set of products to get the benefit what you have already, using the benefit what you have already captured. So brand extension we can do with the brand, those that are having a good brand equity. Right? So easily we can do. Now, people, let's say here, the people believe Dove brand. So the girls are believing Dove brand. Now, let's say as an example, if they come up with some kind of a, uh, fairness cream from using the Dove brand, if it is not there right now, I mean to say. So fairness cream using the Dove brand, the girls, the ladies, those who believe Dove brand will attracted very easily for that, because it has already built the mindset and it has already built the good brand equity, so that it is very easy to introduce a new product under the same brand name. But that does not mean so you are using the brand name to introduce a completely different the category or completely different a product which is not matching with the brand. As an example, now we know Harpic is a toilet bowl cleaner, right? But you can't use the Harpic brand name to manufacture or to introduce a fruit juice brand or a juice brand. But Harpic you can use if you want to introduce tile cleaner, if you want to introduce some kind of a germ killer, because those are the related products that goes. Let's say as an example, the Mortein, the mosquito coil or the mosquito or the insect killers are in a particular product category. So though the Mortein name is already built in the market, that doesn't mean that you can introduce a biscuit product saying Mortein. So you need to identify the brand extension carefully. Now, Yamaha, as an example, extended their brand into many different categories. They have stretched the brand into many categories. Yamaha music equipments, Yamaha water scooters, Yamaha, the motorbikes, Yamaha this, Yamaha that, like that. So they have extended their brand into many different categories. You can do so if your brand is having a good brand equity and if you see the if you can relate your brand into a particular category, you can do so. Right now, let's say as an example, okay, again here, Dove. Dove, if you come up with a fruit juice, I don't think it'll work. It won't work. Because Dove is basically into the personal care brand category. So the fruit juice is a different one. So if you come up with the Dove, the fruit juice, it might be a killer sometimes for this brand. Unless you make it in a proper way. Now, Coca-Cola comes up with a water bottle, but that doesn't mean they are using the Coca-Cola name, no? Right? So, like that, you got to identify this. You got to identify this. So the extension is that. So existing brand gives a birth to another brand. Okay. So in the say another product in the same category. So under the parent brand name. So that we identified as the brand extension. Now here, if you really look at, okay, so Starbucks. So they introduce brand extensions here, different flavored under the Starbucks. But then again, you're talking about what? Energy beverages, right? Coffee means the caffeine. Starbucks is into the coffee category. I mean, the coffee also we identified as some kind of an energy drink. So, I mean, when you look at it, you identify the Starbucks, how they have extended their brand name in using the energy category. Now, brand extension, you can do it in two ways. One, we identified as the line extension. And the other one we identified as the category extension. So what is the difference between the line extension and the category extension? So now see, if you are using the same brand name to produce a product that goes into a let's say new segment under the same category. New segment under the same category. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම Starbucks. This is a category extension. Right? Sorry, line extension. Now, in the sense what? Now, they are catering a different segment in the same category. This is the drinks, the fruit, I mean, juice products. The coffee is also a drink, and the same segment, but new product category. Sorry, the new market segment in the same product category. So product category is what? The drinks, the juice, and the coffee is also a drink. Energy coffee is also some kind of an energy drink, the refreshing drink. So Starbucks is doing that. So I mean, the Starbucks refresher, they are coming up with different flavors other than the coffee: strawberry, raspberry, orange, and the different flavors they are coming up with. So that we identified as the line extension. Even the line extension we can, I mean, this is basically the category extension. So the Coca-Cola, we have the line extensions. Coca-Cola, I mean, new market segment. What do you call the Diet Coke? New market segment in the same category. ඒ කැටගරි එකේ ඉඳලම ඩයට් කෝක් low sugar කෝක් එක දෙනවා කාටද low sugar concern sugar concern කට්ටියට so that we need to identify as the that is identified as the line extension. So, and the category extension in the sense, we are taking our parent brand into a completely different category. And this we can identify it as the complete category extension. Now, our parent brand, the Burger King, the burgers. But the French fries is a different product category. So, the Burger King is taking that brand into the different product category. The very best example I can say 3M. And 3M is having the personal, not the personal care, office products. 3M is having the auto care. 3M is having the different products. Yamaha is also, as I said, is example, the category extension. They have used their brand into a different categories. So different categories they have taken. So if you look at the corporate brand, John Keel's Office Automation, John Keel's Hotels, John Keel's this, John Keel's that, like that, they have different categories. So the category extension is another thing. So when you look at the brand extension, there are two main brand extension approaches we look at, and one is the line extension, where you cater a new market using the same product category within the same product category. And the other one, the category extension, in the sense you are anyway going into a different market with a different product category under the same brand name, the Coca-Cola, like I said, the Coca-Cola and the Diet Coke, right? So, the Coca-Cola and the Diet Coke is basically the line extension. The category extension, as I said, the Yamaha and the Burger King, you can say it is as a category extension. So when you look at now this one, see, this is clearly a line extension. So under the same category, you are taking basically this different product under the same category, because it goes into the same different market, not the same market, different market. So this one, then again this one. So the line extension, same product category, another product that goes to a same what do you call, different market segment. More fair and smooth skin, it's one thing. Soft touch, it's another. So different market segment. Those who really expect the fairness, so they might go with this. Of course, when you look at when you apply, you don't get the fairness. It's a different concern, but this is how they promote. So the extension means that, so the brand extension can come up with the line extension and the category extension. So the brand extension, in the sense, you're taking your brand into another product, and by using the existing brand equity. So that we identified as the brand extension. So with that, we are taking the other one, the brand communication strategy. I told you all that, under the marketing mix, we don't discuss this in depth, but under this, we will be, under the brand communication approach, we are talking about what are the strategies we can use to communicate the brand. Now, the brand communication strategy, if we take, right? Well, anyway, are you clear with the brand extension and stretching before I move into the communication?
Mr. Mahesh, I need more clarification regarding this brand category extensions. Like
All right, okay.
you mentioned, you took this example. And what I feel is it's about the category extension rather than line extension. If Lux
Which
is
one?
moving to shampoo, body lotion, then it probably would be line, line extension because they are in the same soap category and they are like what I feel is they are expanding their category into fairness to beauty and to herbal.
If that is the case,
Likewise.
it is a category. If that is the case, it is a, I mean, now let's say as an example, no. Now here, when you look at the line extension, what we need to identify, they are they be in the same category, but I mean the right slide, give me 1 minute. No. Wait. Okay. Now, when you look at the category extension and the line extension here, when you talk about the line extension, what we need to remember, market, they are going into a new market in the same category. අපි ගත්තොත් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට long and strong hair is one market. Silky hair is another market. But it is, I mean, both in the same product category, right? Same product category, but line extension, the product lines are basically extended. Then අපි flavor එකක් change කරනවා නම්, ingredient එකක් change කරනවා නම්, ඒ category එකේ ඉඳලම අපි flavor එකක් change කරගෙන යනවා. right? අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට දැන් ගත්තොත් එහෙම okay Lux වල as an example අපි කතා කරන්නේ මොකද්ද beauty කියන category එක. එතකොට beauty soap, beauty shampoo, එතකොට ඒ category එක ඇතුලේ ඉඳගෙන අපි products වැඩි කරනවා. එතකොට දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එimhe fairness කියලා කිව්වහම සමහර එක්කෙනෙක් කියනවා මට fairness එක නෑ මට ඕනේ ඒක නෙමෙයි dry skin එක ඕනේ මට ඕනේ oily skin එක ඕනේ I'm just saying hypothetical example මට ඕනේ silky skin එක soft skin එක ඕනේ. එතකොට එක එක්කෙනාට එක එක skin requirements තියෙන්නේ. But all are in the same category in the sense the product category. Body, let's say as example the body lotion. Some might say no, I don't want to have the oily face. Some might say I need the fairness. Some might say I need to remove my pimples. Some might say I need to remove my black patches. Some might say something. So, but they are into the same product category, but their requirements are different. පැහැදිලිද එතන?
Of course, now I understood.
right? එතකොට දැන් අර අපි දැන් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හදන දැන් ලයිෆ් බොයි ඇඩ් එක ගත්තොත් අපි ගන්න strong and strong hair එක ප්‍රොඩක්ට් කැටගරි එකක්. හරිද? I mean එකම අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම එක මාකට් එකක්. right? තව කෙනෙක් කියනවා නෑ මන්ට strong නෙමෙයි මට වෙන්න ඕනේ silky වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒතකොට තව මාකට් එකක් ඒක. so එතනදී අපි දකින්නේ line extension. category එක කියලා කියන්නේ complete product category එක අපි වෙනස් category එකකට brand එක ගන්නවා. දැන් I will take as an example from the supermarket operation. So I mean sorry not supermarket. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම as I said Yamaha is doing it in big time. Yamaha products එක එක category එකේ තියෙනවා. Yamaha brand එක ගත්තොත් තව අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ category extension එකකට අපි corporate name එකක් අරන් ගත්තොත් අපි දන්නවා මේ Abans වල තියෙනවා Abans normal retail shops. Abans elite කියලා retail shop එකක් තියෙනවා. අන්න අපි Singer වල අපි දකිනවා Singer mega තියෙනවා Singer අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ තව ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒතකොට ඒවා අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම වෙනම මේ එක්ස්ටෙන්ෂන් එකකට යන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක අරගෙන යනවා වෙනමම අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් කැටගරි එකකට. දැන් එතකොට එතනදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ වෙනමම මාකට් එකකුත් අපි කතා කරනවා. එතකොට දැන් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් කැටගරි එක්ස්ටෙන්ෂන් එකක් කියන්නේ මාකට් එකත් අලුත් වෙනවා. මාකට් එකට අප්‍රෝච් කරන එකත් අලුත් වෙනවා. සමහරලාට ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් උත් අලුත් වෙනවා. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම තව උදාහරණයක් විදිහට we can say no limit ලා ගත්තොත් ඒක no limit and glitz is the brand extension. So I mean the brand the flanker brands. What else we have? Category extension අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම වෙනමම
What I
category.
feel is the line extension is it's regularly happening, and category extensions can happen only after a lot of research and studies.
Exactly. Because the category extension in the sense you are taking the name into a completely different market. 3M is doing in big time. 3M office care products තියෙනවා, 3M cleaning products තියෙනවා, 3M motor, I mean automobile related products තියෙනවා. 3M is doing it in big time. ඒ වගේ අර ඒ කැටගරි එක වෙනස් කරන මේකට අපි යන්නේ. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ තාමනාද category extension එකක් I will see. මමත් තව බලන්න මොනවද examples තියෙන්නේ කියලා category extension එකකට යන්න අපිට. But the line
අපි අර category එක define කරන දැන් කුමාරිකා ඇත්තටම එයාගේ category එක ගියේ. ඒ කට්ටිය soap introduce කරා. හැබැයි අන්තිමට ඇවිල්ලා serum beauty පැත්තට නෙන්නේ.
නෑ ඒක එතකොට category එක කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක line extension එකක් එන්නේ. Beauty කියන්නේ
ඒක line extension එකක් වෙන්නේ.
ඒක line extension. දැන් මෙතන Burger King එකේ මේක category extension එක. ඕකේ අපි ගත්තොත් මෙතනම අනිත් එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් Mac Rice එක category extension එකක් අපිට යන්නේ. Mac Rice Burger Rice මේ කියන්නේ මේ මොකක්ද අර KFC rice එකේම category extension එකක් යන්නේ. Because they are not into that නේ. They are not into that. Their main brand is not into that, no. But they went into a category extension to cater the market where the rice requirement is there. එතන category extension එකක් අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන්. ඒක line extension එකක් නෙමෙයි because they didn't have that product originally, no. They didn't want to do it, no. So they were doing a category extension and taking that same name to meet the Sri Lankan expectation. You know, so that can be considered as a category extension there. අතන යන්නේ product line extension යන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි බලන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම මේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ product category එකේ අපි අලුත් market එකක්ද cater කරන්නේ කියන එක. පැහැදිලිද? දැන් අපි තව උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් ඒ කියන්නේ liquid soap එකයි powdered soap එකයි කියලා කියන්නේ තව market segment එකක්. දැන් සමහර ඒගොල්ලොන් දැන් fully auto machine වලට powdered soap එක දාන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර machine manufacturers ලම කියනවා don't use the powdered washing powder, use the washing liquid කියලා. ඒගොල්ලොන් කෙලින්ම කියනවා එතනදී. So it is a completely different market but in the same category. දෙන්නම කරන්නේ washing. පැහැදිලිද? So අන්න ඒ වගේ තමයි category මේ line extension එක යන්නේ. product category extension we can see this Mac rice එක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. KFC rice එක. මොකද category එකක් ඒගොල්ලෝ extend කරනවා under the same brand name. ඒ දෙකේ පොඩි confusion එකක් එනවා. ඕකම සමහර textbooks වල මෙහෙමත් තියෙනවා. Good that you reminded me. සමහර textbooks වල තියෙනවා brand stretching and brand extension කියලා. එතකොට සමහර textbooks වල මේ stretching එක තමයි category extension විදිහට යන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ you are taking the same brand into a completely different product. එතකොට ඒ market එකෙත් නෙමෙයි. එතකොට වෙනම market එකකට අපි එකම brand එක අරන් ගිහලා වෙනමම product එකක් develop කරනවා. So which means another name we use it as brand stretching strategy කියලා කියනවා category extension එකට. පැහැදිලිද? ඒක ගොඩක් සමහර textbooks වල stretching කියන වචනේ තියෙනවා. ඒ stretching කියලා කියන්නේ brand එක අදිනවා වෙන segments වල වෙන products වලට කියන meaning එක. stretch කරනවා කියන එක. So that we identified as the category extension. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම marketing textbooks වල මේ brand stretching and brand extension කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒතර stretching කියලා කියන්නේ category extension එක. right? Clear there?
It's clear, Mr. Mashna.
Good. So good that you asked that. Right. Now we need to look at, okay, how we are going to communicate. This also comes under the marketing mix strategy and the communication part under the marketing strategy. So how are we going to take our marketing, the brand into the mindset of the consumer? Because our communication activities, whatever we do, advertising, sales, promotion, all these things, how it is connected with the brand. Now, we know all our communication, right? Why we do the communication? So to build the brand awareness, first thing is to build the brand awareness. So our intention is to make the brand awareness, right? Then with that awareness, what do? We build the knowledge about the brand. So these are the things what we gain by practicing the brand communication. Mainly the awareness. Our intention is to communicate about whatever the things. Maybe new product, maybe existing product, maybe a recall like maybe a reminder එක, maybe reinforce කරන්න behavior එක, to reinforce the behavior, right? All these things are the reasons for the brand communication. So, and also bring a positive attitudes, the favorable attitude towards the brand. Because no matter what we communicate, how we communicate, if our target market and the target audience do not respond to the brand, do not respond to the brand positively, which means if we do not, if they do not respond in the sense they do not positively accept the brand, right? So because of that, there won't be any favorable attitude towards the brand. So we need to make sure our communication strategies are building a favorable attitude towards the brand in the mindset of the consumer. If not, our communication will not be effective. I will tell as an example, Kikola brand awareness is there. Many knew what is Kikola. So the brand awareness is there. The knowledge is also there, right? May not be the kids, those who are in right now sometimes, but during the brand launch of Kikola, with the campaign they started, so we identified how strongly they communicated the brand to capture the market. So, with that, the knowledge built, awareness built, and attitude initially built toward the brand. Attitude initially built towards the brand, at least to consume the brand. So, communication will build. Sometimes, though the communication built, finally the people will not continue with that because of a failure of a product, because that is what we saw even in Kick Cola. Just because of the taste and the other things, the people did not continue consuming Kick Cola. But still, if it is a cola product, people still prefer to go ahead with Coca-Cola or the Pepsi. At least the second chance as Pepsi. So favorable attitude should be able to build along with the communication what we do. Losing it on different dimensions, is something else. Now, when we are building the brand, we know we need to talk about the mechanical dimension as well as the emotional dimension. We need to manage the mechanistic perspective of the brand as well as the emotional perspectives of the brand. මේ දෙකම manage කරගෙන යනකොට තමයි අපිට brand එක build කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට දැන් අපි මේ දෙකෙන් එකක් fail වුණොත්, right? සමහර වෙලාවට මිනිස්සු brand එක ගැන දන්නවා. නමුත් product එක fail වෙන හින්දා long term positively brand එකට favorable return එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Short term ආවට long term වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So our communication should be able to build the favorable brand attitudes and favorable brand image in the mindset of the consumer. So what are the things we can do to communicate? You might already have heard about these tools, and which is coming under the marketing mix communication strategy, marketing communication strategy. So we use these strategies to communicate our brands. We use these strategies to communicate our brands. One is the advertising. I mean, we all know advertising, right? It can be TV advertising, it can be radio, it can be press, it can be magazine, billboards, hoardings, and all these things we considered as advertising. So, we are using advertising to communicate our brand and position our brand in the mindset. So by doing this, what do we gain? We again, get the opportunity to get into the mindset of the consumer. So send some kind of a reminders. So to change sometimes behavior towards the brand. So that thing will happen with the advertising, what we practice. The sales promotion. So sales promotion means that, we see brands are simply doing short-term, past short-term benefits to consumers. So brands, product-related discounts maybe, bundle offers maybe, coupon offers maybe, or else co-branding approach maybe. Co-branding approach in the sense, or else, two brands get together and provide some kind of a solution for client. So like that. So sales promotion, that is for a shorter period we do. So, and those we identified as the sales promotion, discount offers, the cash refunds, activities, events. So we know with his Red Bull is doing so much of activities and events, right? This even can considered under events and experience, even, but those are for short-term period they are making. During the season, let's say the festival season, they give small promotions, the price off and the competition kind of this. And Coca-Cola underlit promotion, right? Where they have certain images under the lid, then collecting those images, you can get into a competition or get free gift kind of a thing. So those we identified as the sales promotion activities. So sales promotion, always what we need to remember, these are short term. Sales promotion වලින් කරන්නේ motivate කරන එක. Because our brand communication focus on informing target market and the target audience, persuading, which means motivating target market and the target audience, reminding and reinforcing target market and the target audience. Our brand communication also does the same thing, right? So එතකොට then sales promotion means what? Short-term motivation they give. Short-term motivation they give, right? So ඒක තමයි sales promotion කියලා කියන්නේ. So, and the other one, the personal selling. The personal selling in the sense, okay, the people, those who are involving, right, in brand development, okay, we identified as as they do the personal selling approach. Now, let's say your sales team goes and talk to the client, right? Your sales team represent your brand and talk to the client, not just talking to the client. What we need to identify that. So, if that salesperson makes a mistake, it affects the brand. It affects the organization. It affects the corporate brand. So personal selling as a communication support the brand identity and the image. And the direct marketing approach, in the sense direct mails, catalog, telephone, and all these activities we identified as direct marketing approach, the emailer campaigns, right? All these we identified as email in the sense, not the bulk emails, okay? Bulk emails අපි ගන්නෙ නැහැ direct marketing category එකට. මොකද bulk emails කියලා කිව්වම සමහරවිට අපිට එනවා emails, ඕගොල්ලන්ටත් එනවා emails which is not relevant. Those are public communication. Those are just advertisements. අපිට advertisement අපිට අවශ්‍ය advertisement එකත් අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා, අනවශ්‍ය ඒවාත් අපි දකිනවා. So emails also same. But direct mail in the sense what? Direct email, personalized email. So those we identified as the direct mail companies. A direct mail basically brand promotion approach. PR and publicity is one of the best brand promotion strategy to build the brand image, brand reputation, and the brand identity. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම එතකොට PR කියලා කියන්නේ public relation activities, commonly used CSR activities කියලා අපි කියනවා commonly corporate social responsibility activities what we do. And what we gain by doing this, the brand is getting free publicity. Now, let's say your brand donates something to the your brand donates something to villages. So you get free publicity. You get free publicity, right? So those things you can talk about. I mean, they will give free publicity for your company. They will give free publicity your brand name. So that is the beauty what we have in PR and publicity. And also publicity articles are independent views by the authors, different writers, the reporters. එතකොට එතනදී people believe a PR article more than an advertisement. Why? Because it is written by a third party about your project, about your effort. So because of that, you, build a very strong image towards the brand by doing the public relation activities and the publicity, CSR activities, the corporate social responsibility activities. That is another way of communication what we do to build the brand equity. And the other one, events and experiences, what we give. Events, corporate events maybe, sports-related events maybe, as I said, okay, the events like the Red Bull events maybe, right? Sports activities, Signal sometime back, they were running Signal Mukamarua campaign or something where they identify certain areas and ran education campaigns to build the brand image, right? එතකොට දත් මදින විදිය කියලා දෙන්න. එතකොට toothbrush වල පාවිච්චි කරන එක, toothpaste පාවිච්චි කරන එක කියලා දෙන්න. ළමයින්ගේ දත් ටික ටෙස්ට් කරන එක, ෆ්‍රී කරන එක. So all these things are events, the PR related events and the other activities what companies can do to communicate with their target market and the target audience, what brands can do to communicate with their target markets and the target audience, competitions can organize, right? So those things. Internet marketing and internet marketing is basically the digital marketing approaches to build the brand. Using social medias we can do that, and using let's say the Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Quora, LinkedIn, so like that, social medias, the website, own medias like websites, blogs, we can use to promote the brand. So things like that we can use to promote the brand. So that is internet marketing. And the interactive marketing, in the sense, whatever the interactive activities, interactive with whom? Interactive with your target market and the target audience. So, you organize something to interact with your target. Exhibition is an interactive marketing approach where your client, where your prospect or the future potential customer comes, you interact with them. Or else, let's say as an example, and you organize an event. Through an event, you do interactive marketing. Or else you interact online with Q&A sessions, we do interact with clients. Or else you practice interactive marketing communication for the benefit of brand by using telemarketing strategies. So like that, you do have something called interactive marketing also. So these are some of the elements or strategies what we can use to communicate our brand and take the brand into the mindset of the consumer, to build the awareness, to build the likings, to build the preferences, to build the knowledge, to build the positive attitude towards the brand. So the communication is basically the activities what we do to build the brand image once again and communicate the brand identity. Cleared? Any question there? That of course not much, right? That of course not much. Any question there?
No, Mr. Mahesh, it's okay.
By the way, did you all do this evaluation? අපි sample evaluation එකක් දාලා තිබ්බා mock paper එකක්. මේක කරාද? practice test එකක් දාලා තිබ්බා ඒක කරාද? We put a practice test here. මෙතන practice test එකක් අපි දැම්මා. මේ එක්කෙනයි attempt කරලා තියෙන්නේ. කවුරුත් කරලා නැහැ. No one has done. මේක කරන්ඩ මේකේ මේක ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඇතුළට ගියාම මෙතන questions ඔක්කොම 20ක් තියෙනවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ට proctoring දාලා තියෙනවා. ඊට කැමරා එක on කරලා තමයි කරන්න වෙන්නේ. So you do this මේකේ අර පළවෙනි module 1 and 2 වලින් questions හදලා දාලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ විදිහට තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ final paper එකත් එන්නේ. Final paper එකේ questions උත් එන්නේ so that you can get an idea. So some more questions will be added into this and your totally you are having 90 questions in 1.5 hours, not I think 2 hours. 90 questions are there. So make sure you are comfortable with by doing this paper. එතකොට සමහර වෙලාවට දැන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට එකම එක එන්නේ නැති වෙන්නත් ඉඩ තියෙනවා. mix up වෙලා එන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා. සමහරලාට එකම එක repeat වෙන්නත් ඉඩ තියෙනවා. So make sure you do. චන්දන මේක කළා නෑ ඕගොල්ලෝනේ. and අනෝජා මේක කළා නෑ නේද? මේ question paper
I'll do this.
Yeah, make a karanda, right? Okay, so we are done with the module 3 also, right? Module 2 එකේ අන්තිමටම තියෙනවා මේ question paper එක. Module 2 එකේ අනෝජා you have the LMS access නේද?
Yes, sir.
තියෙනවා නේද? Module 2 එකේ අන්තිමටම තියෙනවා මෙන්න මේ paper එක කවුරුත් කරලා නැහැ. Shall we quickly, can you all go into LMS now? ඕගොල්ලෝ LMS එකට යන්න පුළුවන් තැනකද ඉන්නේ? Just to brief you all properly. LMS එකට යන්න පුළුවන්ද අනෝජා? දුලාජ් යන්න පුළුවන්ද LMS එකට? Can you all go into the LMS? චන්දන?
So Mahesh, I am actually going out now to take
Okay.
my voice. I am going to use my phone.
All right, okay, no worries.
Till now
Then do
I
it,
was
huh?
using the laptop.
මෙතන මේ තියෙනවා මේ ඔයාලට පේනනේ මේ තියෙන තැනක් කොතනද කියලා. So මෙතනට ගිහිල්ලා
Yes.
so I will give you all the path, right? So මෙතනට
Yeah.
ගිහිල්ලා මෙතන තියෙනවා practice test එක. එතකොට එතනට ගිහිල්ලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එන්නේ view proctoring කියලා. You all get this attempt කියලා එන්නේ. දැන් මම අර කලින් attempt එකේ ඉඳලා මෙතන attempt කියලා එන්නේ. So your camera you have to agree here. මෙතන agree වුණ නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කරන්න බෑ. ඒක තමයි proctoring feature එකක්, right? So you all have to agree the camera. Then only you can start the quiz. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන් අහනවා start කරන්නද නැද්ද කියලා. තව step එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක මම අර කලින් එක continue කරන ඉඳලා directly යන්නේ. So තව step එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලන් accept කරාට පස්සේ you all can get this. You all can start accessing this question. So මේ question paper එක කරන්න එතකොට then you will get an idea. දැන් මෙතන අපි මේක ගත්තොත් let me brief you on this. තප්පර කීපයකින් කීපයකට ඕගොල්ලෝගේ image එක capture කරනවා එයා. right? එතකොට මේ image එක capture කරලා ඒක තමයි proctoring වලට දෙන්නේ. එතකොට your screen should be clear, your face should be clear along with the photos what you have given here. ඒක match කරනවා system එකෙන්ම. එතකොට ඒවා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ හින්දා clear image එකක් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ profile එකට add කරගන්න. Your profile is already created. Log in there and put a clear image. නැත්තම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඒක match කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. මම without reading the question මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට නිකන් ආන්සර් කරගෙන යන්නම්. දැන් අපි හිතමු අපි මෙහෙම ආන්සර් කරගෙන යනවයි කියලා. right? අපි මෙහෙම ආන්සර් කරගෙන යනවයි කියලා අපි හිතමු. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට let's say 5 questions per sheet. You answer and you go to the second one. You go to the next page. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඊළඟ page එකට ගියාට පස්සේ මෙතන මාක් වෙලා තියෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ answers කරපු questions මොනවද කියලා. right? answers කරපු questions මොනවද කියලා මෙතන මාක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපි දමු මේක answer කරා මේක answer කරා උදාහරණයක්. then you can get an idea. මේක answer කරා you go to the next page. You go to the next page. එතකොට here you can see the questions that you have not answered. Question number 7 answer කළා නැහැ. So when you go there directly you can go to the question number 7 here and come back and answer. ගිහිල්ල වෙලා answers දෙන්න question number 7 වලට ගියා answers දුන්නා. ඊට පස්සේ you can go to this මේ screen එක familiar කරගන්න. මොකද exam එක වෙලාවේ screen එක familiar කරගන්න හිටියොත් ඔයගොල්ලෝට බැරි වෙනවා. So ඒ වගේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ answers දෙනවා මෙතන. I'm just putting this, okay, without even reading the question. I'm just answering. Right? ඊට පස්සේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? ඊට පස්සේ අපි මෙතන දැන් මේක අර තිබේ true or false MCQs. මේ වගේ question එකකදී අපිට එන්නේ correct word එක fill කරන්න මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. right? correct word එක fill කරන්න මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මෙතන මොකක් හරි definition එකක් දීලා ඒ definition එක මම හිතන්නේ මේ brand management වල definition එක දුන්නේ කවුද කියන එක වෙන්නේ නැති මේ අහන්නේ. so දුන්නා. එතන මෙතන එන්නේ selection එක. answer එක හරි answer එක select කරන්න. ඔය එකක්. තව step එකක්. තව විදියක්. එතකොට ඒ questions ටික ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරනවා. දැන් මෙතන අපි හිතමු right ඔයගොල්ලෝ questions ටික answer කරගෙන යනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ඒක අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් මෙතනත් එහෙම. දැන් මෙතනත් අපිට word එක select කරගන්න තියෙනවා. අපි හිතමු brand කියලා word එක select කරගත්තා. ඊට පස්සේ finally you are getting finish attempt එක. finish attempt එක. එතකොට දැන් මෙතන හැම එකකටම answers කරාද කියලා you all can see මෙතනින්, right? and if you all want you all can go back and answer. මොකද තව time එක දැන් මේක අපි මේව කළා තියෙන විනාඩි කිහිපයකට තව time එක තියෙනවායි කියන එක ඒගොල්ලෝ මේවා කරනවා. so දැන් ඔයාලට තව time එක තියෙනවා නම් ඒක ඔයාලට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. so let me ඔයාලට re-attempt වෙන්න පුළුවන්. return to the attempt කිහිල්ලවල ඔයගොල්ලන්ට re-attempt වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඕනනම් ආයි පාරක් කරන්න පටන් අරගෙන ඒක කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ විදිහට කරලා finally what do? You submit it. Submit all the questions. second confirmation එක ගන්නවා submit කරන්නද කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ submit කරලා ඉවරයි දැන්. Then submit කරලා ඉවරයි. You can't do any corrections but you can get an idea. right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ 20න් ලකුණු කීයද? 20න් 4යි මගේ හරි. අනිත් ඔක්කොම වැරදි. ඒ කියන්නේ මම exam එක fail. 20න් අඩුම 10ක් තියෙනවනේ exam එක pass වෙන්න. මම exam එක fail. Then you can take another date and do the resubmission part. මේක කියන්නේ මේ system එකට විතරයි හුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. So but practice test you can do again and again and get yourself comfortable. practice test එක පුළුවන් තරම් කරන්න. මොකද මම තව practice test කීපයක් දානවා. එතකොට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දැන් total question bank එකේ තියෙන්නේ if I'm not mistaken on the brand management වල question bank එකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න 300ක් වගේ තමයි. එතකොට ඒකෙන් select වෙලා තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට filter වෙලා එන්නේ. එතකොට practice test එක දිගටම කරන්න. practice test එක කරනකොට then you all can get an idea about the real exam. ඒක තමයි අනිවාර්යෙන්ම වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් මේක කරාට පස්සේ comfortable මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පෙන්නන්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේක evaluation වෙන විදිහත් I think we have not showed you all this. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට අපි proctoring වලදී ඒක අපිට view වෙන විදිය මොකක්ද කියන එක අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම okay දුලාජ් attempt වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි දුලාජ් එක ගන්න නැතුව මම මගේ එක ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් අපිට ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේ පැහැදිලිව පේනවා අපේ appearance එක මොකක්ද කියන එක. අපේ appearance එක මොකක්ද කියලා අපේ ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේ පැහැදිලිව පේනවා. ඉතින් මේවා උඩ දැන් මේක වගේ කලින් දවසක ස්ක්‍රීන්ෂොට් එකකුත් තියෙනවා. අපි කරපු දේවල් ටික මේකේ පැහැදිලිව තියෙනවා. Right? එතකොට give me 1 minute. Got a call regarding the diesel. Right. එතකොට මේ මෙතන ඕගොල්ලෝගේ proctoring details වල මෙතන වැටෙනවා ඕගොල්ලෝ කොයි විදිහට exam එකට sit කරේ කියන එක. ඉතින් එතනදී බලන්න මොකද මේ ඒක crucial. ඒක සෑහෙන important. මොකද මේ image එකත් එක්ක match වුනේ නැත්නම් මේ image එක ඕගොල්ලෝගේ මේ profile එකේ තියෙන image එක it will be a issue for you all. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා දැන් දුලාජ්ගේ මම ඕපන් කරන්නේ නැහැ. දුලාජ් මම ඔයාගේ ඕපන් කරලා කමක් නැද්ද? Is it okay if I see the screen?
Okay, no
Question දැන් දුලාජ්ගේ issue එකක් තියෙනවා. දුලාජ් ඔයා iPad එකකින්ද මොකකින් හරිද කරන්නේ? tab එකකින්ද?
Yes, sir. We did it in the class 2 weeks ago. Don't.
Okay, 20 second මේක. 20 second මේ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Right, okay. එතකොට මේ එතනදී බලන්න මොකද මේ ඔයාගේ එතන concern එකක් තියෙනවා screen එකේ. Right? මොකද මේකේ ඔයා disqualify වෙනවා මේ black screen ආවොත් එහෙම. ඔක device එකේ තමයි concern එක තියෙන්නේ. device එක පොඩ්ඩක් check කරගන්න ඒක හදාගන්න. Right, any question clear? The module 3 is also done. We have to do module 4 right now. Module 4 එක කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ මේ 4 and 5 are the last two modules, but before that we need to make sure we are comfortable with the module 3. And the other one, I need to discuss the assignment with you all. Give me 1 minute. Once again, I need to discuss the assignment with you all. Senal, can you do me a small favor? Senal, hari samadhi hari neda inne. I need to search the assignment. Give me 1 minute. All right, okay, got it. Right. Right, this is the assignment you all have. Okay, 25th June, you all have to submit. Right. Etakota, can I know, I mean, where have you all got stuck in the assignment? Assignment එක කොතනද? අපි evaluation එක next week එකේ කරනවා. Outline the factors I mentioned. Okay. Measuring and evaluation criteria කියන එක අපි ලබන සතියේ කරනවා. එතකොට මේ part එක ඉවරයි. මෙතන කොතනද ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ issues වෙන්නේ assignment එකට? කොතනද ඕගොල්ලන්ට assignment එකට issues තියෙන තැන් තියෙන්නේ? So 2-page document එක some might not have power. Okay, like yeah. Right. So 2-page introduction එක okayද? Dulaj? චන්දන දුලාජ් කොතනද ඔයාට අවුල තියෙන්නේ මේකේ? දුලාජ් කොතනද assignment එකේ අවුල තියෙන්නේ?
So I complete the task 1. I will send you today.
Yes.
I didn't. Thus far, there's no problem.
No issue නේ. task 2 එක කොතනද හිර වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? පටන් ගත්තේ නැද්ද නැත්නම් මේ හිර වෙලාද ඉන්නේ?
No, not yet started, sir.
Not yet started නේ. Right. Okay. task 1 එක මට එවන්න. චන්දන ඔයාගේ පැත්තෙන් මොකක්ද අවුල තියෙන්නේ?
I
Any
also
issue?
have data regarding the actually I'm going to do regarding this Red Bull and stashes.
Okay.
And I have collected data, but I couldn't accumulate them. So we'll send this week.
right. මේ සතියේ වන්නේ. එතකොට then we can fine tune. එතකොට මේ මොකද assignment එක ඉවර වෙච්ච ගමන් අපිට ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ assignment එක දිහා බලලා slides ටික හදන්න ඕනේ Viva එකට. මොකද then I can guide you all taking about 2 hours to prepare your slides. මොකද මට ඒ assignments ටික තියෙනවා මට කියනවා මේ ටික slides වලට දාන්නයි කියලා. මොකද slides වලට දාලා slides ටික prepare කරගන්න නැත්නම් Viva එක upset යනවා. මොකද මේ assignment එකත් එක්කම අපි slides ටික හදලා ඒ ටික practice කරන්නත් ඕනේ. Anyway, first week of July will be your Viva. ඒකට අපි ready වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් Viva එකට Viva එක එනවා. එතකොට exam එකත් එනවා first hopefully first week of July and Viva is also coming. එතකොට ඒ දෙකට prepare වෙන්න මේ ඕනේ හින්දා we need to make sure that we are on track with the assignment. මොකද assignment එකමනේ Viva කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. So ඒ හින්දා අපි ඒක හරියට මේ workout කරගෙන ගියා නම් හරි. හරිද? So any concerns guys with this? You all don't have any issues නේ මේ ටිකත් එක්ක? So අපිට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ outline the factors, identify the brand and competency. Brand audit එක අපි කරා ඒක ඉවරයි. අපි ඒ tools ටික මොනවද කියන එක කතා කරා. Identify and measure. Right. Evaluation criteria ටික we'll do next week and finish it off. So with that we will be able to complete the module 5. Module 5 එක කරලා module 4 එකට යන්න. Module 4 එකට යන්න. Clear? Guys, okay. I got a call අපේ ගෙවල් ගාව ෂෙඩ් එකට පෙට්‍රල් ඇවිල්ලායි කියලා ඉවරලා. Can I excuse? මට excuse කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? Is it okay?
Of course.
මේ වෙලාවේ නැත්තම් මොකද මම සතියක් තාම පැරලා ඉස්සෙල්ලා මම full workout කරගත්තේ නැත්තම් is it okay sure?
Sure,
මේ දැන් call එක දුලාජ් are you okay with it? අපි ඔක්කොම face කරන challenge එක මේ face කරලා චන්දන ඔයගොල්ලෝ යන්නේ කොහොමද පෙට්‍රල් තියනද ඔය පැත්තේ?
Petrol actually one of my friend is working for this petroleum. He said that there is no issue with the petrol.
මගේ
Diesel
තත
actually.
මගේ diesel ඇත්තටම මගේ මේ ජිප් එකේ diesel තියෙන්නේ. මේක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා then I have to go and pump. ඒකයි. So guys, then shall we catch up next Sunday? Is it okay?
Of course.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Then I'll see you all on next Sunday. Before that, send me the assignment. Huh? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.